Hi, everyone. Welcome to Freedom Angels Live at 5. I am Denise. I'm a freedom activist in California, and I am co-founder of Freedom Angels.
Hi, everybody. I'm Heidi. I am a co-founder of Freedom Angels, and I live in the San Francisco Bay Area of California.
Hi, I'm Tara, co-founder of Freedom Angels in the Northern Sierra Nevada mountains of California.
So every day we come to you live at 5 discussing freedom and liberty in the state of California and across the nation. And today we're going to start off with information on our pushback in California, which will be April 20th at 12 o'clock noon at the California State Capitol. We are really excited to do this. And I wanted to throw this out there for people who are, who have the concern of what the Sacramento Bee posted up and the fear mongering that Dorit and, all of Senator Pan's little backups have been trying to instill in social media. That I want to assure you guys that Freedom Angels has been working side by side with law enforcement to keep this a peaceful protest. And it's something that needs to happen. They know it needs to happen. We are practicing our First Amendment right to peacefully assemble and start pushing back on Governor Newsom. As we saw today, his press conference, he says things aren't going to get back to normal until 2022. How long can you stay inside? So yeah, let's talk this amazing rally or protest that we have going on Monday. Is going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing. This is not a movement thing. This is a humanity, a California thing. So I'm really excited to get back to work with you ladies.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the beginning of the pushbacks for California that that we'll be seeing. We also have something scheduled for April 24th, and then May 1st is a big day in California, but for around the nation. You hear a lot of, you'll be seeing a lot of different states all coming together to make sure that there is a big resistance or protest around the country on that day and leading up to it, and protests leading up to it, because we can't just wait for that day. People need to get back to work, need to get back to life. They need to get back in contact with their loved ones who they're isolated from. They need to be able to have a paycheck. There's 22 million people that filed for unemployment right now in the United States of America. All these people predominantly had jobs, and they were paying, their bills with their jobs and working. And it's really, the president today said he's, open on May 1, but governors can choose to open sooner. And that's something that I think really, the time is of the essence. No matter what, we all have to be out on May 1st and just be like, enough is enough, we're done. But before that even, because this is really, none of this should have gone down the way that it has. All the grounds that they locked down the nation and threw a wrench into society and the economy and people's lives, and all the collateral damage from that, none of this should have been done this way. The grounds that they did this upon, first beds, first, ventilators, then this, the spreads, the modeling, all of it faulty, all of it manipulated, none of it in line with our constitutional rights. When you grab emergency powers under any circumstances, it must be the narrowest margins. You must have the most compelling state interest and be able to back every bit of that up. And none of that has been done. So again, all of this has been done unjustly from the beginning, and we cannot let it go further, and we cannot let our participation in society, whether it be work or travel or school or entertainment or connection with each other, be predicated upon health status and be conditional upon testing and tracing, which is tracking. None of it. That's unacceptable. That is the grounds they'll enslave us upon, and it can't be done. It's essentially a mandate to live your life, to be a human and engage in society and live.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I liked, is my microphone on? Yeah, it is. I jumped in on Kevin Jenkins' live today. Thank you for pulling me in, Tara. It was amazing. We need to post a link to it, but one of my favorite things that he said about it on it, there are so many, but this is the one that's ringing in my head right now, is people die every year. literally every year they die. We don't wish death on anybody, but every year people die. People die in nursing homes, people die in hospitals, people die in their homes, they die in car accidents. There's many places that they die. We are not told about them 24/7 the way we're being like inundated right now, to the point that people are so fearful they're not going to shake hands with somebody, or they're not going to give a hug to their neighbor or to somebody they're close with, or a mother who's really stressed right now and needs help with childcare doesn't feel like she can let her kids be watched by somebody else when she really, really, really needs the help, because of this insane fear that has been driven into the American psyche. And it's not even for a vaccine, guys. That's not why ultimately they want it. It's not just about the vaccine. It's about tracking. And so that's why we are taking a stand, a very, very public stand, to sound the alarm and let everybody know this has nothing to do with a virus anymore. This is all about the powers that be setting up a structure to track and monitor you and to require your DNA to participate in society. So this is the defining moment in America right now. Are we going to stand up and use our brains that have logic and can understand the bigger picture and not get caught up in a virus? Not that the virus isn't real. We know viruses are real, germs are real. We've lived for eons together with them, but somebody pulled off the greatest heist ever.
Yep.
Did
And
they
you know,
not?
this whole fear mongering has worked in every single aspect. So you have the fear with the virus, right? They're keeping you in the house. You're going to die. That's it. If you catch it, you're going to die. But then you have people like Dorit and people like Kathy Hennessy, who go on to take screenshots of our pages, and they start telling people that we're going to pass viruses that we don't have, that we don't have any constitutional right to be out there. We're going to get arrested. And then oddly enough, an article pops up from the Sacramento Bee that, you know, Sacramento PD is going to lock down on people who were out and about, when it's all based on fear. The law enforcement that we have talked with, because this isn't our first rodeo. We've done this multiple times. We know who to talk to, and we're able to build those relationships. That's not what's going to happen on Monday. So, you know, I want to call her out because of all of the fear that she's instilling on Twitter and on her social media handles. We're not going to do that on Monday. We have been working side by side with people who are going to make sure this stays peaceful. We know we're peaceful people, but fear works from all angles. They're trying to keep you in the house and make you believe that you are going to be arrested and cited by police officers if they even catch you on the street. And that's just simply not the case. This is, again, manipulation by the media, manipulation by powers, Newsom and all of the people behind the scenes. I think Americans are starting to wake up now, saying, wait a minute, this isn't true. We need the truth now. And this is what we're going to demand on Monday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We have the right to assemble.
Mm-hmm.
And it's safe. There will be the caravan coming in from different locations, south. They'll be coming in from other locations too. We're putting together the map for that. And then people can be on the Capitol grounds too. We'll be standing on the Capitol grounds as well. So whether it's in your car, circling around the Capitol, or on the grounds, it's time to assert our First Amendment rights to assemble and protect our constitutional rights, and get California back open again without these conditions that are contingent upon essentially control structures. Testing, which is wildly inaccurate and should never be grounds for your participation at work or school or life, and tracking, which is straight up shackles. And they go hand in hand. So you can't have one without the other. That's really important. When they say it will never go back to normal, no, it won't. We're not going to let you do this either. We get to choose how this goes forward. The governors are telling us it's going to look this way. It doesn't have to look this way if we tell them we won't accept that, if we won't participate.
Yeah, and states are saying that. Today, Texas was out there at their governor's mansion saying, no, we're not going to do this anymore. This is our line. So we have a lot of states that are now starting to say, okay, we did our due diligence. You know, we were told to stay home to stop this spread. We did our part, and now it's getting excessive, and they're starting to push back, which was great. So some other, did you guys watch the Texas pushback?
I did watch
some
a little
of it.
Yes.
I didn't get a chance to see it all.
Yeah. It looked like a pretty decent.
No, it was.
I was gonna say it looked like a decent
For sure.
turnout. Guys, it has to start somewhere. I know that the leaders have said, like, we're not leaving until, you know, you reopen the state. So they're in this for the long haul in Texas, and every day this is going to build. So yeah, they had a great turnout in Dallas. I mean, not Dallas, in Austin. Austin is where the governor's mansion is in Texas. Yeah, hopefully they'll do something in Dallas too, because I know that's a major hub up there. Texas is big.
Well, and it's every state, and everyone's saying the same thing. It's a unified message. It's open up our, you know, our state, open our country, and it's not conditional on your terms. You don't get to tell us we are going to be tested and tracked and only allowed to participate in society under certain conditions. That's what they do in communist China. That's what they have done. That is what they do. You know, it's what a surveillance state looks like, a control state. It's actually very telling, you know, very kind of ironic that the big pushback is on May 1st. That's kind of the International World Workers' Day, which is a communist, you know, party platform. And what we're really doing is coming out on this day and saying, we reject that. We fundamentally reject that as Americans. And honestly, we reject it for every human living on this planet. They should not be living under that type of tyranny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people have had enough. So I want to kind of talk to you guys about the coming up rallies. So there's one in Idaho tomorrow at 2:00. So follow your local Freedom page for those updates. And then we have the rally to free New York, and oh shoot, I don't have the date. Do you guys, that's on Friday or May 1st?
I think
that's
that
May
one's
1st.
May 1st, but New Jersey tomorrow is gathering at mid-morning. Go follow New Jersey, different pages there. But there is a protest going tomorrow. I believe an Operation Gridlock protest tomorrow is occurring in New Jersey. I believe around Trenton, and I think it's mid-morning, but check in to see.
I mean, this is it, guys.
And you know, it's happening.
You're witnessing the beginning of people starting to stand up. I mean, for years we have been saying, when is this going to happen? Well, it's here, and I'm pretty darn excited about it. I don't know about you guys, because these governors like Cuomo offering up New York to be a lab rat for his citizens. Who does that? For
coronavirus vaccine. For the coronavirus vaccine.
So Hoylman introduced Bill S08182 regarding the COVID-19 vaccine when it becomes available, and put it in the same paragraph as your tetanus, as your pertussis, just as any other vaccine. But let's remind you guys that this particular vaccine skipped animal trials and went straight to humans with how long were the studies to see what kind of effects this would take place. I mean, this is pretty scary stuff, and to have it on your child's schedule is even scarier. But we are witnessing the beginning of those adult mandates.
Yes, well, and because I think he went through education, which is includes adult education in New York. So if anyone doesn't know about Senator Brad Hoylman of New York, he is a vaccine extremist. He's the one who's authored the bills for HPV, a mandated HPV vaccine for all children, starting at what was it, 6th grade, finishing by 9th, without exemption. No way to opt out if you're in the school system at all. No, not even, no functional exemptions for all kids, as well as he's on the flu vaccine, same thing. So he's a believer that all vaccines all the time for all people without exception. And I'm sure he's in full support of the testing and tracking or contact tracing required for all people. Really, that's it. Again, those grounds are the ones we cannot let that premise be an accepted premise for humans to exist in society. That's really fundamental above it all. You know, our health status, our testing, which is wildly inaccurate and not there's no way to accurately represent true health and wellness, nor whether someone should be kept out of society for something like that. This is very much harkens back to the 80s with HIV and AIDS scare, but having gone global over coronavirus, over this. I mean, and so the fear that people are living with is really, it's on the media and on the legislators, like the governors, that are really pushing this. And social media, like these, like Google and Facebook, they all are just amping up. Be afraid, stay inside, report on each other. I mean, like Mayor Garcetti of LA, didn't he just say, and he's been one of the worst, didn't he just say that, like, no, there was not going to be any big like music festivals or sports events for like a year and a half or something?
Yes, he said that. He said that.
But the view of what health and wellness and how to handle viruses or illness is completely skewed and wrong here, completely. So we cannot let testing or tracking or tracing be part of the narrative for how we handle things like this, ever.
Yeah, we have to claim social media back. We cannot live in fear over social media either. We've gotten our share of death threats. Believe me, people wish death on us because we are speaking out against the garbage that is coming out from the mainstream media. So I understand they make examples out of the leaders and they want to make life as difficult as possible. And I mean, if you go to our event page right now to try and, say, I'm going to come on the 20th to the Sacramento Capitol, there's a nice little, header on it that says, mass gatherings are prohibited. You're basically going to kill somebody by showing up. You're not saving a life. I mean, think about it. It's on our freeways, the signs everywhere, stay home, save a life. The sign, like, oh.
The conditioning.
So let's talk about
repeatedly stated.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Let's talk about Tucker Carlson and New Jersey Governor Murphy last night. Tucker Carlson asked New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy where he got the authority to nullify the Bill of Rights when he banned religious services in his state. Governor Murphy's quote is, "I wasn't thinking of the Bill of Rights when we did this. The science says people have to stay away from each other." No, it doesn't, Murphy. That science is bullshit. It's completely bullshit. And there are world-renowned scientists all around the world who have been trying to get their voice heard, who have been trying to get the data out there. There have been doctors and nurses trying to get the true story out there, but it's not what anyone's hearing, and it's not what the governors are acting as mouthpieces for at all.
It doesn't fit the narrative. It doesn't fit the narrative of what they're trying to do. I mean, this is the same old song and dance that they do all the time. And then when people like us start standing up and saying that you've had enough time, this is enough time, then we're called crazy and they throw every name at the book, every name in the book at us to try to discredit what we're doing. I mean, it's the same song and dance that we've been seeing for years, but thankfully people are starting to wake up, because this isn't about a certain bill. This isn't about a certain law. This is families getting back to work, putting food on the table. Fathers and mothers, are stressed out right now. You have the, not only are parents out of work and now you're trying to go into a food pantry to get food for the table, but now these schools are saying, okay, we're going to do this distant learning. And this distant learning is going to consist of 6 different classes, different online logins. I mean, Heidi, you deal with this, just for one day. For a parent to have to do this every day, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that with my son. That's way too stressful. And if they want to reprimand me for that, whatever, they can't. I mean, at this point, we're in a crisis where the stress level is so high. I'm not going to do that. But we need to get back to work. We need to get back to everyday life, and life not living in a mask that's not even being worn properly.
Yeah, this whole distance learning model too, we really have to be eyes wide open on the distance learning too. It's one thing for an adult to do, but for a child to be subjected to is a whole different ball game. Not to mention, we as parents should never be taking our eyes off the screen when we are letting our children learn. You know, we're being told they're learning. To step away and to not see the hackers that can come in, the access, it just takes once. You cannot unsee what gets put up on that screen. So the hypervigilance needed from parents to pay attention to what's in their virtual learning. I mean, yeah, I'm doing it once a week with my kids and I regret it. I wish I could take it back, but thankfully it's only once a week. I can't imagine there's other kids that are doing this 5 days a week and they're stressed beyond belief, especially if you have more than one child.
Yeah, you simply can't do that level of vigilance. It's almost impossible for most people. It just literally is, because people are trying to work and manage multiple kids, keep their sanity. But this is, again, none of this should be happening this way. If that's a lifestyle choice that you've made for your family and you want to do that, great and fine. None of this should be happening this way. And the reason it's being allowed to happen is because people have bought into the fear, because that's what's been being sold by the people who are profiting off of this and who have a plan to control it all. And it's literally been being sold, because where have people honestly been told about therapeutics, on how to be? Yes, we all understand hygiene, and everyone, up your hygiene level, your awareness, practice a little more awareness, just like you would with a really dangerous flu out there, or if you lived with someone with any active infection that was dangerous, you would up your hygienic practices. But beyond that, the focus should be on how to build resilience, immunity, resilience within your own self, and help others. But also, what are the therapeutics to help people recover from this? How do you troubleshoot a new virus and come up with the best practices? And there are actual doctors and hospitals and nurses advancing that and having success. I mean, right now, one of the things we heard for weeks and weeks, the only path was ventilators. We know that ventilators, you should be kept off of them at all costs, only as a last resort. And it's not even therapeutic. It's like a support structure to help your body while you're trying to recover. It's not a therapeutic. And so if people really understood that was being handled honestly by everyone who's involved, then there would be far less fear. The fear would be much more normal and the trust would be restored, but it's not there. There's no trust and there's only fear right now that you're going to end up on a ventilator. That's your only hope, and then need it, and then wait for some vaccine and hide out until then.
But see, this is where it comes in, where the knowledge is really empowerment. Because if people really knew about these therapies and about these treatments, they wouldn't be as scared. Just as people really knew about their rights, about their constitution, about the positions that their sheriff should be in, they wouldn't be so scared to go outside and enjoy the sun. My city just had new orders, I guess, that you cannot go out unless it's absolutely essential. Bike riding, things like that, absolutely essential. It is essential to my family. It's essential to my family's health, mental health, emotional health, well-being. They are nobody to tell me if I can be outside or not. So I have yet to run into any officers who have stopped me. I mean, I'm out all the time. And this is where stop me, tell me what laws I'm breaking, because I'm not a public health threat. I'm not sick. I'm not, trying to infect anybody. I'm in my car, I'm on my bike, but knowledge is absolutely empowerment. Know your constitution, call your sheriff. This is the local activism that is going to be key for you to maneuver this and to get other people to do it. You need to contact your sheriff, ask them. You don't need a whole big spill. You just need to ask them, what is your position on these state orders? You contact your public health office, your Office of Emergency Services. These phone numbers should be phone numbers that you have written down, ready to call. They should know who you are by now.
And that's really key. We've been talking about for weeks, and for anyone who might not have heard us before, really the local level is where the pushback needs to be. In the state, it's the governor and the public health officer and the Office of Emergency Service that run it. But at the county level, it's their at the county level, it's the public health officer, county public health officer, your sheriff, the local law enforcement, and elected government officials, whether they be mayors or boards of supervisors or town councils. And then again, the ed department, all these are the people that are tasked with the management of the county. And they are the ones that are going to determine what it looks like in your county. We've seen counties that are gotten very strict, like where Heidi lives in the Bay Area, or we've seen counties that have fought back, like a couple of them in Colorado, and up in places in Michigan and Maine, and they've taken positions. We're going to link some of these at the end of on our post so that you can see what local resistance looks like, or local positions to back constitutional rights and to map a different way forward than what the restrictive path that these governors are saying that are going to require compliance with testing and tracking and no one working until they have that. So it's so important. Like Governor Newsom himself in California said a few days ago, localism is determinative. And he said it's going to be in the hands of the county public health officer. I mean, honestly, if you're a county public health officer, there's 3,007 counties in the United States. There's 58 counties in California. If you are a county public health officer, you could have never maybe seen what this moment was that was going to come before you. Right now, you have to have vision. You have to be bold and have vision and stand against what is essentially violations of human, civil, and constitutional rights, because you are being tasked by your governors to police and enforce and carry out these orders in your county. And so the people of your county are going to be pushing back against you or looking at you to help lead the way, and local law enforcement. So, like we always say, everyone's no more than 1 or 2 degrees away from somebody who's kind of involved in the management of their county. So really start picking up your phones and texting people, or what have you, and start reaching out and saying, I'm not okay with this. We're not going to accept this. We're gonna look for a path that has real solutions, human solutions that protect constitutional rights at the same time. Because none of this has been done on grounds. Show us the data, show us the science, because everything we've seen that's been blocked counters everything they're using to justify their means right now. So really local pushback, local connection, local organizing.
Yes, and remember, everybody, to our new watchers, these county public health officials, they're appointed. They're not elected. The sheriff is the elected public servant. So ultimately, the sheriff is the one who is the law of the land in your county. So people running around screaming, oh, but the public health order, oh, the public health order. That's why we need to get together, start reading our Constitution, and understand there is nowhere in the Constitution that outlines anything for a public health officer. It's everything to do with the county sheriff. They are the elected public servant.
Absolutely.
And there will be countless constitutional challenges for what has gone down. I mean, it's literally, is not every human entitled to probably dozens and dozens of constitutional challenges at this point?
That's going to be exciting to see,
out.
to be honest. The Supreme Court opened up their online, thing. So, I mean, they should be expecting this. You don't want to be that sheriff. You don't want to be that guy, that police officer who runs into the wrong person, who knows their Constitution, who knows their rights, and they're going to haul your ass into court so quick. You don't want to be that guy. So I hope that you guys do contact your sheriff and build that good relationship with them to support them in their decision, because that's what they're going to need too. They're not just here to support you. They're here. We have to support these good people, these people who are abiding by their oath, let them know we're going to support you. You need to support us. So that way they have a safe place to come out on, instead of just, you know, abiding by public health. Public health has no authority to be doing this. So that's
Especially in
the authority needs to be challenged, because this is, like we said, this isn't the least restrictive. This isn't compelling state interest. You know, this isn't limited in scope. This is way outside the boundaries. And honestly, this is literally the people, all of humanity, against an agenda. I mean, do we want to be governed in a control system where we're tracked and traced and conditional on our health status to, you know, and everyone's fearing each other? Do we want that surveillance big brother police state or not? I think 99.999% of people really don't want that. And so it's really, you know, the right side of history here, especially in the United States of America, is to not choose that path that really is, we're being told we have to go on by, it's, what is it? What are we calling this now? The Gates plan? I mean, what do we call this? The Gates plan. We're off that path. We're getting off of that path. He doesn't get to decide. He's not king. We're not his slaves, you know.
Nor does Fauci, nor does WHO, because that's the other thing too, the other fear porn from the World Health Organization, you know, it's still circulating around that WHO director said that they're going to go door to door and pull people out of their houses. Guys, in America, we're not going to stand for that, because we have a constitution that does not permit anybody to come pull anybody out of their houses. We understand that there's other countries in the world that may not have those protections, but Americans don't fall for that. Do not fall for that whatsoever. You are not, no way is anybody coming into your door and pulling.
You're not coming into my house and taking my kids, that's for sure. They're going to be at the wrong house.
And trust me, there's more science and clinical evidence that we should be dealing with this just like we would deal with a serious influenza than there is whatever narrative is being told otherwise. It just, you can't get those words out there. I mean, people are starting to see, oh, these numbers don't add up. Oh, no. People are surviving and coming, you know, recovering from this. So people are starting to see it, but not because it's being echoed. People are, you know, pay attention to the dissenting voices from honestly, from the governors or Fauci or Gates who are telling you it has to be done this way, because they're trying to break through to be heard.
Yeah, so it's time. I mean, the pushback is here, and California, it's time to rise up. It's time to get involved. So we don't have that fear that you're going to be arrested, or you're going to be cited, or you're going to, you know, to go outside. That's not what's happening here. Please understand your Constitution. Know that you have rights, and join us, please, on Monday, April 20th at 12 o'clock at the California Capitol. We are going to have a convoy as well as boots on the ground on Capitol grounds. And we're going to be there. You know, there's no time when it's going to end, but just know, again, we are working with law enforcement. This is going to be a peaceful protest against what Newsom has continuously said. This is going to be, there's no date, there's no lift order. I mean, we're indefinite in here in California, but we don't have the same numbers as the rest of the state. We have herd immunity here. So every day.
He said it's conditional too. He said it's conditional.
Conditional, right.
On testing and tracking, contact tracing. That is conditional. That's huge. He can say, oh, great, you can go back to work now, but you got to do this, this, and this. And that cannot be accepted.
So we're going to push back. And every day, Monday through Friday, during this quarantine time, we have a live at 5. I cannot tell you what page we go live from because of censorship. We go live from multiple pages. But we will be here tomorrow discussing freedom and liberty again. And we also have a YouTube channel, Freedom Angels, and a Telegram channel, Freedom Angels Foundation, where we send you the links to our videos and links to other information such as our protest. So do you guys have anything else to say before we get off?
Nope, that's it.
See you tomorrow.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Live free.